Oh, let me put my. Okay, you can hear me. Hi,
Hi.
hi. So, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you today?
Uh, I'm good. Other than my legs, you know, that's the only part left. But things are going well otherwise. The meds too. The meds are confusing. I have an appointment just after the appointment with you. I almost canceled this appointment, not right away, but like earlier, but
Mhm.
because I have a doctor's appointment at 1:30,
Okay.
or wait, no, 2:30, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to start the recording here, okay?
Okay.
Recording in progress. Okay, so an appointment at 2:30 right
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And um yeah, that's a bit going to be a bit stressful. You know, I don't have the best relationships, I guess you could say, with doctors at this time. They don't seem to provide me much, and they provide me with meds that don't really function, or they don't they're not effective. Let's just say, and they just make it worse.
Mhm.
Yeah, right now, like every time I take them, it's like I don't know how to just. I don't like using words because it puts those thoughts into my head that the way I'm describing it, and I don't like. So I tend to use like, you know, roundabout words to refer to pain
So I
and
get Okay, so it's there's something about being able to name things in different ways so that you can kind of avoid thinking about them so you can avoid not feeling well.
well, somehow this drug does something to my brain, where if I think of a word or use a descriptive term, somehow my brain, especially when it has to do with my body, somehow my brain will start to, trigger that sensation in
Really?
yeah, in my legs. So it's best for me not to describe what it in a painful way, because it only makes it worse.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like almost an instant reaction, so I have to be careful what I say.
Yeah, forgive me from calling that interesting because that's also, well, I guess that it's almost like a double-sided coin. You have total power over how much
Yeah.
you think about it and feel, and then you're totally vulnerable to thinking about it and feeling it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like. Because yeah, so
That's so
it's
strange.
it's from the drugs.
An
From
obstacle that is.
yeah, it is, because you're kind of not always in control of your thoughts and feelings. You can't be. Sometimes they'll affect me when I have everything under control and I'm doing really well, and then something just, it doesn't take, you know, it doesn't take, usually at night I'm laying flat in the bed and my legs are hurting, and I'm about to get, what? Oh, yeah. Um, I, was about to, what was I going to say? What was I saying a second ago?
You said I'm about to get, so I don't know what
just before that.
You were talking about the pain, the experience.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to get some possible relief. Um, the med delivery tonight is they're gonna deliver some kind of cream that, like a numbing agent that I've never heard of something like this, but it's some new, like, it's expensive. I have to pay a lot of money. That reminds me, I gotta make sure. It costs the same amount that I sent to you today, just for this little tube of ointment, and I put it on my back, and different places on my back corresponding to nerves in my legs. That's really interesting phenomena there. So I'm really excited to try that, and see how if I get any relief. And then also I'm supposed to try this new drug tonight. I'm really scared of that.
But hold on. Like, you're very scared of that, but let's talk about that, because maybe you can have a plan of action that will allow you some awareness to be able to have some influence over how you are affected.
A little bit. It's right now, it seems every day the negative effect on my legs is stronger in the nighttime. So I don't know what's going to happen to me from day to day. Every night I don't think I'm going to make it through the night is how it feels like. The pain is so intense. And then I have to...
You were saying that you've noticed, you have to, if you're careful about how you think and talk about it and how you name it, that it can have some beneficial effect on
Yeah, and what I focus my mind on, and how, not even what, but how. Like, I have to do it and a lot of this I learned from the Bible, again, or I can say it it's like, I posted on my YouTube channel. I read some proverbs, but it's just being able to put things in their place. I don't know what happened to me at a certain point in time, but I think things in my mind got out of their correct place. It may have had to do with that last sort of quote-unquote relationship that I had. Like, it may have done something to twist my brain. I kind of have a theory about that, because I wasn't like that before. Well,
tell me again, because you have told me little bits and pieces, but just tell it to me again.
That I don't like to talk about too, but I'll talk about it with you. Yeah. There was a person who worked for me, and I don't know, you could say she kind of seduced me, but not like it wasn't purely sexual. It was more like, it was a combination of things. It was the fact that I wanted a family, and she had somehow deluded me into thinking that I was, a family member to these people. Although I did have a part in their life, as I thought about it later, it wasn't really substantial, and I kept waiting for that next level of commitment to occur, and over a number of years it did not occur. So, and then I began to realize that I was overlooking many things that were going on where I was being used, and one of them was my sympathy. I was giving like inordinate amount of my money to this family and that's why I got into trouble with my caregiver funds. I shouldn't get into too much with that. It's just, I basically almost exclusively had this person on my payroll, and that put a real strain on my health because, they weren't always available, and I'd get left. They'd leave me in a lurch times.
Yeah.
They were.
And you've told
I
me.
told you about that, but that put that along with the incredible empathy and sympathy that I gave away with no refund, you could say, to her children, and she had one daughter in particular that she was always complaining about to me, and this daughter had like severe mental crisis all the time, and all her kids had mental crisis, and I was constantly, counseling and giving, and I was like so on top of it at that time. I had no mental issues whatever. I could counsel people and do business and handle my caregiving, and just everything was easy peasy at the time. Well, at least I thought so, but I was obviously taking everything into consideration, like the fact that this is what I'm getting at in terms of if everything's framed in the right way. So at that time, it was all framed incorrectly because I was going after something that didn't exist, and I was putting all my resources. I was putting my resources toward that non-existent thing, which I don't know, must come from my childhood or something. That ability or lack of ability to sort of discern a future impact of decisions in your own life that are sort of very close to you. So I'm good at discerning impact of decisions in other people's lives, or even ones that don't directly impact me. But, in my personal life, I think at that time, I was really like overlooking the
personal impacts.
Yeah. So it put a vacuum in my heart, and then eventually I was like gasping for air almost, but emotional air, spiritual air. Like, so when I read the scripture, what I get from it is grounding. There's a lot of information about having your foundation, a solid foundation. So when I say for instance, I watch things at the end, like I had no problem watching news or movies or whatnot, and I watched a lot of sports before. And then it became almost like I was super sensitive to everything. Like it was almost like I'd lose myself in whatever I was watching, right? And I couldn't, and for a time even, I couldn't watch something for more than 5 minutes, and I would start to feel anxious, right? And then everything would just throw my nerves into like a chaos. Even sports, I couldn't watch sports anymore because I would have like physical, like, I guess when you watch sports, you're like doing the activity in your brain somehow. They say that, watching sports can actually, in a way work you out, because a lot of guys like, I always felt like that. Oh, it's like remembering what I used to be able to do when I was walking, and like reliving my abilities as a walking person, right? So I loved watching sports and fighting, like MMA fighting and tennis, golf, you name it. I watched hockey. Yeah, and then I couldn't watch it anymore because it just hurt my legs, because I couldn't separate myself from the activity that I was watching, or I got too, and I was giving my, I don't know, theory here. I gave myself too much away in that relationship, and and it sucked something out of me that
Mhm.
I had before.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes sense. And now I'm like slowly regaining it. Like I can handle, like this morning I was handling, quite a bit already. I've handled during the day and I have the doc. So far so good, but my legs are really not doing well. But at the same time I have the attitude that if this could be my last day on earth, I want to make it a good day. So,
Okay.
it's, yeah. Because I do feel happier and more balanced than I ever have, actually.
Okay.
But it's just my legs that are holding me back now.
So can we? Okay. So that I like your theory, and I'm interested, and I want to ask you about whether because I don't know enough about this, but there is a lot of information about how we hold in the body, and we probably talked about this kind of the the body holds the pain, the stress, the fears, the anxieties,
Mm.
the the hurt, the despair, the all the feelings that we experience in relation, and so I'm just curious to know, like, so maybe there's this part where you're starting to discern how you think and feel has this uh, has this automatic effect on your on your physiology. You're starting to notice the relationship clearly, and that in so doing, there may be openings there, doors that can be opened in terms of how you process your feelings, your negative ways of looking at things, your whatever's harming you within.
Yeah. Like MMA, for instance. It's where, the guys tackle each other and wrestle and punch each other in the face. Yeah. That one. I mean, there's not a lot of intellectual content there, but sometimes there is, and there's some smart fighters, and then there's dumb fighters, and there's in between. There's like tactical fighters. There's all sorts of different methods of fighting, so you can get into it pretty intellectually. But after I would watch it that night, I would find myself all tight, and just because I was in the action, this guy's say I picked a fighter to win, and then he's losing. He's on the ground getting his butt kicked, or she, and then I'm like, like thinking he's gonna get up. I'm gonna get up, and then he's winning, and or he gets punched in the face, and then yeah, I'm getting too into it. Like I'm almost in the fight, and then that's not good for me. So I have to be careful. I disconnected my cable. Whoops. Sorry. Disconnected my TV. I only, try to choose what I watch carefully on YouTube. I watch, intellectual stuff. And then I was watching, keeping up with the politics of and then after that was too much for me, so I tuned out of that for a while. And lately I've been able to, discern that without having it affect. I'm noticing things more. Before I think it was a natural confidence that I have. Now it has to be more of a built up confidence. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think you've described yourself as somebody who is very intelligent and capable of intellectual insight, but maybe there's this whole part of you now that needs to be kind of connected to the whole, because we are whole beings in the way that we operate. We're not just our intellects. We are also our feelings, in the way that we process feeling, and then we are also soul and spirit. Um, at least from my point of view, I relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
So and then of course there's the physical body as well. So there's all these things are connected. Of course, I don't know enough about it, but bottom line, yeah. So that makes sense. You kind of maybe were operating on a one dimension, and now you're plunging into these other areas as well.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, like, say I were to watch fighting or put it on because my dad likes to watch it, and of course he watches it and then he goes to sleep and he doesn't. He's not like up all night, with his legs reliving the fight or whatever. That's just irrational type of behavior for the muscles or the nervous system, and I believe it has to do with the gabapentin. Somehow there's like, or not just the gabapentin, the nerves in my body being damaged. And but I'm not sure how much of it is the drug or the nervous system, because my concerns of the drugs have to do with research that I've done into people that many people that have tried to get off of the drug, and the symptoms that they've encountered are the same symptoms that I'm going through. So make of that what you will, but that's a fact.
What drug did you come off of?
Oh, this is the gabapentin. I've not been able to get off of it, and I wish I could. It's not every day. I swear I cry in the morning just trying to get the courage to just stop, just not take it and hope that I can make it. But I've tried a number of times, and then I end up taking it, and it's like throws all my med times off, and I don't want to end up having a seizure, and then have it be on my caregivers. Oh, he didn't take his meds, and then I probably wouldn't make it given the way my health is. So it would be like, it wouldn't be a suicide, but it's like tempting God to carry me through, and I don't think the Bible really supports that. But at the same time, I feel so frustrated just going through this pain all the time, and it's like putting those things in my mouth and then just feeling the pain in my body, and it just feels like it's poison. And it's really sapping my energy on the one hand, but at the same time it's forging me, you could say.
It's what?
Forging.
Foraging?
Forging, like
Forging.
like in a mill, yeah.
Yeah, like iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I it's sharpening me. Like I have to be very sharp even to think about things, and I find my mind being sharper than I expect it to be, or than I think it's going to be, given the stress that it's under, and like I enjoyed watching I'm as American as I am Canadian, so I still have I have family there and many friends, and so it's not difficult for me to tie into their whole local elections. I know every state. I've practically been to every state, driven through it at one time or another. And so that was interesting, keeping up for a while. Like I said, I was into it, and then I was like, "Get me out of this! This is like a fight. It's like a real fight." But after a while, I was able to like watch it without it, and keep myself separate from it. Part of it's knowing that things operate in God's plan. So it's not just faith, but it's knowing that things are going on. Whoever wins, whoever does what, like even in the Bible, there's many stories of bad people coming up, and then God has a plan. Has a plan for that person, has a plan for that situation, where it turns out, there's some lesson involved. So yeah, like I've had to come at peace with that as well. Like if it is like that's the only thing that's stopping me from just really taking a high risk move. Is the impact it would have on the people around me.
So there again, you're thinking more of the people around you than you are of yourself, and I'm also wondering, how this, because something I noticed with you, and I could be totally off, so just correct me, but I feel like emotional language is not something that's in your repertoire, and
Oh, good. Inform me.
in your, sometimes I can sense things from you, but I don't know if I'm, one never knows if it's true or not. Of course,
Okay.
it's also a dynamic between you and I, and that's the interesting part of counseling, is that whenever you're working with somebody, there's also parts of my life that are like dynamically involved in your life, where we throw each other off, or where we are dynamically attached, or so there's all kinds of interesting stuff. But just from a purely like human to human point of view, like I notice as a woman maybe, or I'm not sure, but I notice like it seems a little bit hard for you to be able to say that doesn't feel right for me. I know you would use different language. You would probably say I think that, and I even when you're using that different language, it indicates how you're experiencing. So you're experiencing everything as thought versus as what I might be experiencing, which is maybe through intuition or through feeling affected, right? So I guess getting back to what we were talking about, I'm just wondering about, when you're talking about this whole thing of increased tolerance to, viewing the MMA, as you call it, the fighting, or getting used to watching politics without taking it personally. And I guess that's what I'm wondering, is if it's also related to how you sense yourself.
Yeah. Too reflective, maybe. Like what? I'm trying to think of an example from the movies or something. They have these science fiction movies where somebody, basically reflect somebody else's feelings or emotions instead of knowing where mine are. I'm like reflecting the other person's or the other situations back to them, and that doesn't feel right to me, because then there might be sometimes it's okay because it's the same feeling, but sometimes it's not, and then I'm like, wait a second, where did that come from, or I don't quite know where the feeling came from, and I'm not too comfortable with it, or it's not really where I was at with that, or it is my feeling, but I'm confused about that, and I'm not sure if it is, so I'm questioning whether it's their feeling or my feeling, yeah, that is a good observation. I think I'm getting more, just the fact that I can keep a good countenance, and I notice my voice a lot more too. I measure myself, my responses by to see how one of them is my breathing, one of them is my voice. It tells me a lot. Like if I'm talking quiet, like that. If my voice recognition isn't picking up what I'm saying, then I start to realize that either I'm feeling weak because of the pain, which is okay, and I don't hold myself accountable for that. But or it's an emotional thing where I'm just like not asserting my voice, like because of some feeling around me, like feeling that's making me less assertive, and it sometimes just has to do with the fact that I have a caregiver around all the time, and I reflect their emotions to them, or I reflect my feeling. I can't establish how I'm doing because I'm too much reflective of how they're doing, and since I have different people, it's like, yeah, multiple different types of vibes, I guess you could say, that I have to deal with all the time.
Well, and everybody does, but
Everybody does, yes, that's true.
but in your case, you are also in a specific type of situation where you rely on these people being nearby for, for your care and
Mm-hmm.
for your ability to get through the day.
Mm.
Similar, like a mother might be to children, or a parent
Yeah.
might be to children, or vice versa. Yeah.
It's different with each caregiver and it depends. Sometimes they're having a rough time at home, some relative passed away, or they're sick that day and they can't, people have their own lives to deal with. So then I'm, it's actually a good thing for me to have empathy. How are you doing? No matter how badly I'm doing, if I can, you know, establish just being a person, being a. I think that's where a lot of you know being human is established in the initial context that you have with people, and how much of a voice you have when you establish those contexts. If you're speaking truly from your feelings, from yourself, then whatever flows from there is going to be good for you, good for them, good for the moment, for the the house that you're in. That's the kind of things I get from the Bible. Is plan things, do things with an ordered fashion, do things with wisdom. Yeah, like I was reading that Proverbs. It says that wisdom is more valuable than gold. It's more valuable than diamonds. It's more valuable than anything. Yeah, yeah.
I wonder if I wonder if you can check. You have the ability to check in, given your empathy. If you can check in with your workers when you're starting to sense a lot coming from them, or you recognize it's coming from them, and checking in and allowing them the opportunity to verbalize what's happening for them also allows them to feel a little bit supported. So there's this exchange that's going on, which ultimately helps you in the end, because as you support them, and we're not talking about being their counselor or having this one-way street or anything. It's about allowing them just a little bit of a voice so that they can also be the best that they can be, that in that moment, in caring for you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I've had a lot of experience working with people. I managed home support, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and I, for me, it was working with all the people who were providing the support,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed to work out all of my relationships with them in order to optimize how they could be in helping the client. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm describing that.
Mm.
It's hard to get the job done when you're emotionally in a reactive state.
Yeah.
Things going on at home.
And same here. If I'm just wrapped up in myself, then I don't communicate so well. I don't yeah, like you said, allow them to come into the workspace in a comfortable way, because they're still in their own, in their own problems that they had just before they came to the workplace. Yeah. Yeah, it's discerning a situation, like discerning a moment, discerning a person, discerning a word to say. All of those things are emphasized in the Bible in very strong ways. So it ultimately leads to a person who is decisive and confident and has decisions based on a righteous creed, which is, to put God first and then to put your fellow human as on the same par with you. So that makes great sense, That's
Yeah.
that's the message of the Bible, basically.
And it doesn't have to be work for you. You can do it in very gentle and limited ways, and just enough in order to kind of create a little bit of safety for them or a little bit of support for them, so that they can move on with the tasks that need to be completed. So it's just like when they arrive, little quick check-in, like, how are you doing today? And they say, oh, I had a terrible day, whatever. So you get some sense, and then you're like, sorry to hear that. I'm thinking of you.
I still have some time. Just looking at the clock.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big meeting today with the doctor and the administrator, who I lodged a complaint with. I told you I did that, right? I filled out a formal complaint against the doctor, and I'm supposed to talk with him and her today. So to try and resolve the situation. I'm not too hopeful, actually. Maybe I should have a different attitude. I should have a different attitude. I should just expect a miracle of some sort.
You should have. Shoulding doesn't really help much, does it?
No, yeah, exactly. No, it doesn't help. And yeah, it's best to just go into it and, I don't want to say wing it, but be prepared but I want to bring up certain things that are very important to me, but I don't expect a resolution because we haven't had a resolution up until now. But I outlined everything in the complaint that I did. It wasn't detailed, and it wasn't as exhaustive as I would have liked. Like, I didn't go into situational, things that had happened to, all the times that I complained. I just said I complained numerous times about this within these date period. So it wasn't that detailed and organized, but I'm barely keeping it together sometimes to do something like that. So talking to him later.
Can we go through an exercise here?
Sure.
Help you get ready?
I just want to get a drink of water. Hold on a sec. Okay.
Okay. So, let's just do it step by step.
All right.
So, your first job is to set a clear intention for the meeting. And you can just do that. You can do it out loud or mentally. So let me know if you get a really clear idea about the meeting that you're hoping to.
That's it. I don't. Okay, I can come up with what I want to happen. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, do it. You can describe it or do it in your head, whatever works for you.
Well, what I would like is for this doctor to.
Um,
Well, I don't know if I have any hope for him yet. I at this
okay,
point.
no. Nirmal,
Yeah, go ahead.
don't talk. Just describe the picture of the vision of what you want. Just imagine out loud or in your head the outcome, how it looks in your mind's eye.
Well, I have a medication that works for me, and I have a doctor that I can call and talk to when I need to. And that doctor is willing to do some research for me to help me understand what I'm dealing with, to help him understand what I'm dealing with as my doctor to spend it. That's exactly what
Okay.
I said that in my I said in what I wrote.
Can you see it? Can you visualize it?
Um
Close your eyes and visualize it.
um it's hard for me, honestly. This
Yeah.
doctor has not I don't have the confidence in him. Maybe he'll change. I
Yeah,
really
sure.
just see him as a child, so it's hard for me to see him growing up.
Okay. I can try another exercise with you to help you get over that maybe. Because it is about letting go of what is
Mm-hmm.
and imagining what your hope is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He had an epiphany. And he's
Okay.
the changed person.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, maybe we should have preceded that with this, which is your state. So I'm going to ask you to use your imagination or your prayer or whatever works for you to set your state which is going to be ready for this meeting. So it's not a thinking. It can be, I suppose, added to by thinking, but ultimately it's actually sensing your state as in being in this positive
Excuse
position
me.
to.
Um. Yeah.
Can you feel your state? Can you feel yourself surrounded by God, if you will? Can you feel God moving through you? Can you imagine, just cultivate the state you want to be in for this meeting? Take a moment.
Okay. Okay.
So spiritually cultivating that state and then also working with your breath and your mind to affirm that state. So
Yeah, you know, I have to. I'll do a lot. I'll just keep quiet until I hear what the two of them have to say, and then I'll go from there.
mm-hmm. And be able to notice if you're having worrying thoughts. So if you sort of kind of trying to maintain a clean slate of optimism, if you will, not thinking negative thoughts, and also noticing how your physiology is, so breathing, like just cultivating a calm state.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully I get something good out of it. Something. Yeah.
Okay.
The
So you
best
can
I
get
could get out of it would be what I just described to you before. That would be the best. That would be what I would pray for.
that he has an epiphany.
Yeah, and that he
That the med he's got an alternate med for you. It's
and the meds that
it's
I'm taking, he
helpful.
doesn't consider me. He doesn't work. I'm not your pain med. I'm not your pain doctor. No, I don't need a doctor that talks to me that way. He's got to, talk to me in a different way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
but visualize it versus be in a negative space about it.
can I put you on hold for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Hello?
Hello, this is Metro Vancouver Housing School Ariakan speaking. Am I speaking to Namara?
You
Or
are,
Jeffrey?
yes.
Hi,
Yes,
Jeffrey.
Nirmal.
How are you?
No, it's Nirmal.
Hi, Nirmal. How are you?
I'm okay. Is this
You left a voice message on Thursday. Follow up?
Yeah, the letter, as far as I remember, had a one number for the bill. And it's like 1,024, if I remember, for the rent.
1,000. You left it in the rent rate.
Yeah, it went up quite a bit.
Yes, it was.
What is that?
First of all, the shelter portion has been increased by the ministry. So accordingly, we increased the shelter portion. So that somewhat increased. Yes.
Okay.
Because you
And
received
was
from
there
the
a
ministry.
portion increased for more for one or the other?
So the ministry increased their shelter portion. So that's because the
I mean, on me or my dad, was it evenly? Like, does he have a higher rent than me, or what's? I don't know what his income is even. I don't bother looking at his income. So, do we pay the same amount? Is what I'm asking.
Oh no, your rent is clear because your portion is 445,
Okay,
and others
that's what I
is from
wanted to
your
know.
dad. Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Please bring the letter to the ministry, and they will increase the shelter portion that they pay you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You need to
How
bring
do
the
I
letter
do
to the
that?
ministry.
I can't go there physically, but how can I do that on the phone?
Sorry, I don't
You don't know?
really know how you
Okay,
can
I'll check
bring
into
the.
it.
Yes, I think you need to double check with them.
Okay.
Because you need to bring the letter. That will be kind of a proof.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
call him. Okay,
Right?
thank you.
Is there anything I can help with? We're good.
We're good, that's all.
All right. Thank you. Bye
Thank
for
you.
now.
Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back. That was my landlord about the rent, so they increased it a little bit. I wanted to know why and etc. Yeah, so the doctor's opinion. Okay. I'll say a prayer that it goes well. Okay, well, thank you for that. That gets me in a better state of mind. I see. Yeah, well, I asked athletes use it all the time. Of course, doing athletes, it just involves your body in space. When you're visualizing an encounter with two other people, you're having to manipulate how they're going to behave too. But at least I can control my behavior. I may not be able to control the outcome of their behavior, but I can certainly do that with myself. You know what I mean? I've gotten myself into trouble with visualization before because I was visualizing things about other people that they weren't on the same page with. So that doesn't always work out.
Taking it as truth, but you're visualizing it.
Who was it that called me? Oh yeah, that was the landlady. I just wanted to make sure I took care of it properly.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll just wait for them to call in a few minutes. How much time do I have? 7 minutes. Oh, that's fine.
I've got that you've got 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. Yeah. So if I could get the best outcome out of it that I could, it would be, if not, the best outcome that I could would be what I told you before, is that he was able to do some research or he was willing to, not that he has to have done it already, even though we've water under the bridge, start new. He just would agree to, participate wholeheartedly in what the latest is with regards to my situation. I mean, put it this way: if I was a doctor and I had a computer, and I had a patient with a problem that was novel, anyway, I just want him to take an active interest in me as a person, as a patient, and my health. And that's what I would expect from a doctor. That's what I would be if I were a doctor, which I may have been if I hadn't got injured. So, I just expect that. I expect a real doctor.
It's also about learning. I exercise that it's developed, and it's in some ways it's letting go of kind of what you're thinking about in terms of what you imagine might be the outcome,
Mm-hmm.
and making space for what you hope will happen.
Uh-huh. Somehow you got...
Okay, Nirmal, I know you've got this big thing coming up, so maybe we end here now.
Okay, somehow I guess when I answered that call, your voice got muted really low, and I was having a hard time hearing you. That's why I was distracted, trying to figure out why it was so quiet. And now it won't let me fix it, because when I try to put my finger at the top of the screen, it goes black because my finger's big and clumpy. Big and clubby, I guess. Yeah, I can't hit the speaker button. Oh well. Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wish you all the best.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Take care.
We'll see you again maybe next week.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.